Today is the 30th of April, one of the most special days in Vietnam. It marks the 50th reunification anniversary, and people here on the streets are celebrating this beautiful day. It's very important day for them. I've been living in this country for over a year now, and in this day I want to take you with me as I go around the streets and watch how people celebrate this beautiful day. And I will tell you a little bit about the history of this day and the story of the leader that led to the reunification of Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh. So join me and let's start this video. On 30th of April 1975, tanks from the north entered Saigon, and marking the end of an era, finishing years of war, they entered the Independence Palace or Presidential Palace, and they took over the city. That was marked the fall of Saigon. The story of Ho Chi Minh is fascinating. He didn't come from a rich family, as we know from what we usually hear of politicians. Usually they inherited power, well-connected families, but he lived a very humble life. He was born in central of Vietnam from a well-educated family, and his father really hated the French. He was a scholar and a nationalist who criticized the French colonial regime. So from his young age, he inherited from his father, he fought against the French. Ho Chi Minh decided to leave his country and traveled for over 30 years trying to learn about revolutions. He started working in a ship as a cook and then cleaner and then a waiter in the US, Britain and France. And during his time in France, he became politically active and joined socialist and communist groups. He educated himself about Marxism, socialism, and communism. And he was the founding member of the French Communist Party in 1920. In 1923, he traveled to Moscow and trained the Communist University Tailors of the East, and later worked for the Comintern. He was aiming to promote revolution against colonial countries. So it was his way to fighting back. In 1930, Ho Chi Minh helped from the Communist Party of Vietnam in Hong Kong. This was the foundation of Vietnam Revolutionary Communist Movement. He returned to Vietnam after 30 years abroad and established the Viet Minh, a nationalist and communist-led front to resist the Japanese occupation and the French colonialism. During World War II, Japan occupied Vietnam during the war, sidelining the French colonial administration. The Viet Minh group, led by Ho Chi Minh, fought against Japanese forces and gained popular support, especially in the north. With Japan defeat in 1945, a power vacuum emerged. And during 1945, Ho Chi Minh declared independence of Vietnam in Hanoi, forming the Democratic Republic of Vietnam and becoming the leader of the North. France have tried to take its control again, leading to a brutal war between the French forces and the Viet Minh. Ho Chi Minh led the political ideological front with the military leaders. The war was brutal and it was ended in 1954. Then there was a Geneva Accords temporarily divided Vietnam between the north, led by Ho Chi Minh, and the south of Vietnam, led by Ngo Dinh Diem. He was anti-communist and supported by the US. The US was really afraid of the spread of communism. That's why they supported and they decided to support this anti-communist regime in the south. That influence from the US was really crazy because the US committed a lot of war crimes against not only in Vietnam but also a lot of neighboring countries. They were trying desperately help stop the spread of communism. Ho Chi Minh's primary goal was the independence of Vietnam. He fought hard for it, and he was very pragmatic and very smart about it. He used communism and socialism, but he was like kind of open-minded. I think the reason of that because he traveled a lot and he met a lot of different people that made his mind more open. I don't think he was a strict communist. He just used these ideologies to bring Vietnam independence. Unfortunately, the south of Vietnam and the north of Vietnam fall into war for years. A lot of people died, unfortunately, during that war. But in 1975, it was marked the fall of Saigon, and the North won against the anti-communist regime supported by the US. Even though it was a really lengthy war that really contributed to loss of many lives. The US, for example, used chemical orange, and the effect of this war is still present to this day. Thankfully, Vietnam is on the rise because of this revolutionary leader, and leaders after him. After 6 years of his death, they decided to continue his journey, giving Vietnam independence and reconnecting the North and the South together. And 30th of April celebrated every year, and this year is the 50th anniversary, reminding us of a national hero and the father of modern Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh! In beautiful Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. After they opened the roads, after the parade, we are now on our way to the walking streets, the city hall and the boulevard of the city, just to check the vibes out. People still are on the streets. We can see even officials here, and yeah, we will see how people still are celebrating, hanging out. Alright guys, behind me is the city hall.